go. Perfect. So we're live on YouTube. Let me put it out there. Everyone live on YouTube. All right, what are we seeing here? You're amazing. Thank you. No, man. Thank you guys. Gonzilla, good morning. Good morning. All right. Let's get everybody here. YouTube starting to roll in. Some people are starting to tune into the YouTube channel. We'll get started around 8:30. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Joshua, Ruin, Ed. Good morning. First time joining. Looking forward to it. Awesome, man. That's perfect. Good morning. Good morning. I learned a lot from you. Awesome. Good morning, Nancy, Edgar. Steve, can you put pivot points on Webull like you do TOS? Yes, you can. Webull also has pivot points. They're just slightly different. I love the way pivot points on TOS looks. I just don't, I haven't tried the Webull one to know how good it is. I haven't really tested it out. Again, for those of you guys on TikTok, we are live on YouTube. You guys can go ahead and change to the YouTube channel and show some love over there. We'll get started in about maybe 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. I want 8:30 to kind of hit, and then there we go. And then we can kind of wait for the new people to kind of roll in here. Can you provide us with a few day trade tickers? Sure, we can do that. We hear you loud and clear. Yeah, also, if you guys can hear me loud and clear, make sure you let me know. The name for the YouTube channel is Mr.Investor. For those of you guys that are asking on TikTok, there's also a link on it in my profile on TikTok. So I hear all these people on TikTok they go live and they start brushing their teeth for hours. So I decided to just put it on live as well as YouTube here. What time is it? It's 8:30. Everyone's still sleeping. Come on, guys. You got to wake up early. All right. Video, sound, everything is good. If so, we'll get started in about 5 minutes here. And we got some more people rolling in on the YouTube, slowly waking up out of bed. Probably had alarms set at 8:30 to tune in here. Good morning, good morning. Jack, good morning. Robert, good morning. Summit, good morning. Glocka, good morning. Where should I put this 4K, bro? Zahid. There you go. Scott, good morning. 5:30 on the West Coast, man. You guys on the West Coast are the real MVPs, man. Waking up for the market open at 5:30. I mean, on the East Coast, I wake up at around 6:30, so. But still, 5:30 is rough. 5:30 is rough because sometimes I go to bed at like 1 a.m. and 5:30 would mean that I only get like a 4-hour sleep. So that's tough, man. Sounds amazing. Awesomely clearly. Perfect. Commute. Show me the green. 1 hour and 35-minute commute. Let's go, Andrew. Mukhtar, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, guys. So for those of you that have tuned in on the YouTube channel, go ahead and smash that like button before we get started. YouTube tends to like it when you guys show love to the channel. That way we can get more audiences in here in the future. Shout out from Los Angeles. Let's go. Good morning, guys on TikTok. What's the watch list for today? I did put a watch list on Discord. You guys can take a look there. Good morning. Early bird. That's right. Smash the line, bro. Yeah, smash the like button if you guys are here so far. 8:33. We'll wait 2 more minutes. We'll get it going right to at 8:35 here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the market outlook, show you guys where the chart is on in the market as a whole, what I'm looking at in the QQQs, which is the overall tech sector, and we'll drop some names you guys can take a look at as far as a day trading standard goes. But it's pretty dry out there, guys. It's the pre-market volume is very low. Most tickers currently have around 2 million volume traded, where some days we're seeing like 30, 40 million volume traded just at the pre-market. So a little bit lower on volume here. I started to trade currency, but it's super difficult to make money. Whether you're trading currency, Bitcoin, or stocks, charts are charts, right? They're going to be the same across the board. And believe it or not, Forex or currency actually follows patterns a lot more strict versus stocks do. It's going to be a lot harder for market makers to manipulate Forex or currency exchange versus a stock. All right, so we got 50 people here but only 26 likes. I'm just kidding. Rika, good morning. Early birds get the money. That's right. Hussein, let's go. All right, guys. So a few more seconds and we'll get going here. All right. Again, for those of you that are on TikTok, make sure you tune in to the YouTube channel. I'm going to be going over the market outlook today and what we think going forward. What are you drinking? Moonshine? I wish, man. Just some good old water. All right, so 8:35. We're gonna get right into it now here, guys. 9 consecutive green candles for the SPY. We're due for a pullback. Yeah, exactly. All right, so here we go, guys. Screen sharing here on YouTube. This is the market as a whole, guys. Many people kept saying, we're making this wedge. We're gonna crash. We're gonna fall. We haven't, right? I always say don't bet against the market. You can bet against certain sectors. Certain sectors can get overextended, like we saw in the tech sector recently, and they did pull back. However, betting on the market as a whole to crash is a little difficult because there's always investors in the market. There's always people who are going to buy the dips. It takes a lot for a market to crash. And what happened back in March or January, February last year with the COVID situation, I mean, that was a pretty heavy fall from the SPY, right? And in order to get that again, the Feds are really not going to allow that to happen, considering how much money they've really printed and pumped into the markets here, all right? So be aware of that. Another thing you want to be aware of is, I'm going to get rid of these drawings on my chart so you guys can see it better. So this is the SPY, right? These are the two moving average we can constantly talk about. And look how previously we kind of stayed close to it. Every time we popped a little bit further away from it, we came back. Every time we popped away, we came back. So this is how the market moves, right? We move in flows. We move in waves, right? So here we are today. All right, we got, just like Sky said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Literally 9 days where the market closed green, right? We are getting extended from this 20-day moving average, but we trade price action, right? We got 2 tight days yesterday and the day before. What could happen here is 2 things, all right? Like I discussed, if you guys are in the Discord, the pre-market plan there was that, if we can break above that 4,720, which we did in the overtime future sessions, we are above that level right now, currently sitting at, pulling back a little bit here, but we broke above that 40720 area. All right, if we can maintain above that 407, we could get a squeeze towards that 409 and 410. All right, now what else can they do? What they could do is get a pop at the open, trap some of the longs, and bring in volume and volatility so they can actually pull the market back a little bit, and we can slowly kind of grind back down towards that 20 moving average and see a bounce from there. All right, so two things that can happen again. If we are above the 407 going forward, we could see the 409 and the 410 area, or we can get a nice pop at the open and a flush to kind of trap the longs there, to bring some volatility and volume into the market. All right, as far as the QQQs go, guys, so the QQQs here is currently, this is what we talked about, right? If you guys have been with me for some time now, we talked about this channel, how the Qs popped out of it, right? This pivot high was the main area to watch again, and if we fell into this pivot high, we had a nice gap to fill. Nice gap to fill to where? This 334 area, right? However, we didn't really touch it. We came close to it a couple of times, right? We saw this like resistance right here, and currently in the pre-market, we're sitting right above this 334 area, right? So we're very close to that all-time high. Again, really reliant on what the market will do today. If the market decides to push, we can really easily take out this 338, and that will be interesting, because then what we're looking at is, if we pull up a lot of the names here, let's say, all right, let's pull up AMD for example, right? We have that, like I talked about, that double bottom pattern, right? So if the QQQs decide to break that all-time high, we might get above this neckline, and we might get above that 50-day moving average. So a lot of the tech names might continue to start moving up, right? The double bottom pattern is that reversal pattern that we talked about, right? Let's take a look at Intel, right? I mean, Intel is a little bit higher on the thing, so that doesn't really have a double bottom. But let's look at Tesla. I know Tesla has that double bottom formation there, right? Tesla again, right here. Not so much. I mean, it's tech related, but again, we need to get above that neckline. If we do get above that neckline, we have that double bottom confirmation, right? Let's see. Let's take a look at Netflix. What's Netflix doing? So Netflix choppier double bottom, but it got above that neckline and currently sitting higher here. All right. Give me some other names. Let's take a look at Zoom. Zoom struggling a little bit. No double bottom there. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia broke the neckline, so looking bullish again. You see, just look how the neckline, once that neckline breaks, right here, once that neckline breaks, we have that move above the 50-day moving average, and it's starting to look a little bit bullish here. Okay, so that's exactly what we're looking for in regards to a lot of the tech names, and the QQQs pushing above that all-time high, right? Once we get above that neckline, we could see a move continuation, at least the next pivot point here, which on AMD would be 87. All right. Some of the names that I noticed today, SQ, let me take a look at SQ. Yeah, so SQ, same thing, right? We have that kind of W formation, the double bottom formation. Key here, it needs to get above that 252 area, which is the neckline there. Get above that, you can either, enter on the break of the neckline, retest of the neckline, and if we see strength, we can continue to see higher towards that 283. Now, let's take a look at some of the names that people are asking about day trading today. Obviously, we got to look at a closer time frame when you're day trading, but what you guys really want to look for is the movers, the ones that have momentum, news, some sort of a catalyst that gets things going, okay, that for day trading. So a couple of the things that I've noticed here, I think Roku is being pumped by CNBC. Mr. Kramer was pumping Roku. Had a nice day. This is the 5-day, 5-minute chart. Nice push. Stays above this 362 area. Can see a nice run towards that 377. So it's got volume behind it. It's been something that's been running recently. Another one is ATNF. Not sure what the news is here, but it's got volume pre-market, right? The resistance at 1058, and we can see that once we hit it, we kind of sold off. All right, so ATNF is another one that you guys may consider. My monitor, not the prettiest chart, showing some weakness here in the pre-market. AVCT is another one. AVCT, this one received a non-bidding offer at around $9 per share. Okay, massive gap up, not the prettiest chart. Again, this would really have to hold that 750 level in order for it to have any life. If it doesn't hold 750, it could roll over. Another one that you guys can take a look at is IMMP. This one had news. Oh, fast track designation. These type of news are bullshit. They're literally, they mean nothing. So this really needs to hold that 360 area. If it does, it can bounce up towards that 380, but don't marry it. And that's about it, right? We have daily resistance at 417. We can see that we came up here and we sold off, all right? So if you guys are going to day trade these, I highly suggest you guys have some sort of scanner, all right? You guys need to have intraday scanners. You guys need to have pre-market scanners. And I talk about a lot of this on my TikTok videos, or I'll make more YouTube videos in regards to where you guys can find these type of stocks. But the most recent video I made on scanners on TD Thinkorswim, you'll have a great time finding some stocks in regards to that. All right, so that's in regards to that. Now, you guys, if you have any questions on certain stocks that you want me to look at, let me know. I'll go through the TikTok names and the YouTube channel and talk about what you guys, what stocks you guys are looking at. All right, so right now, I'm just looking. I see people talking about REI. Let's see here, REI. So REI was something that we traded down at around $2 earlier in February. We rode it all the way up to that $3 area. What's happening here now? Trying to hold that 50-day moving average. If it could stay above, if it can get back above the 240 area, we could see a move towards that 280. But it really needs to stay and maintain itself above the 240. It is in the energy sector, so it is a name that has, support behind it. The sector has been fairly hot. As long as it stays above the $2.06, it should continue, at least have some leg to kind of push up towards that 280 area. All right, so make sure you have a plan on that. And so for why, I wonder why when did you get in on REI? Just curious, Lee. So people are talking about PLTR. I understand PLTR had that deal closed with the 89 million, but again, guys, that was its first biggest contract. All right, we talked about it. In the short term, it might give the stock a little pop. It did do that. It brought it up to that 24 or 25 area, 24.50 area, and now here we are, right? This $20 area continues to remain as good support. We got our first dip down to it, massive buyers. Second dip down to it, we had buyers. And now we're inching closer to that, 20-day moving average. What needs to happen here? This stock really needs to get out of this downtrend that it's in right now. Once it gets above that in the short term, gets over that 20-day moving average, possibly at around $25 area. If it does do that, we could see a move back up towards that, maybe the 29 or the 27. However, right now, it's still trying to build its base. And that's why I keep telling most of you guys, if you're going to trade PLTR, it's got to be for the long term, because you're not going to get a big enough move for you to take any profits. All right. If you're trying to take quick trades on it, you could try it at 22.50, see if it pushes up 10 to 12%, take your profits there, which stops at around 10 to 12% on the downside, which is being the $20 area. That's the only thing I see in PLTR right now. Snow short. When you guys are mentioning tickers, make sure you tell me whether you're thinking of short, day trade, or long term, or swing trade. Snow short, currently sitting at 235.60 in the pre-market. It's above that 20-day moving average. All right, so it's pinching itself closer to that pivot of 241.45 on Snow. Okay, if it does break above this 241.45, it can very easily make a run to 250 and possibly even the 263 area. All right, so this is the game. There's a lot of eyes on Snow. Had nice support down here at 208. Reconfirmed the support down at 208 here. So we're looking at this channel break, right? If we get above the 241.45, we could really easily get a push towards that 257, 263. All right. What do you think about DBX? Got in at 26.25 seems like struggling to get above 28. I mean, DBX is a stock that is moving slowly, right? We mentioned DBX is going to be a name in the tech sector. Despite most tech being down, DBX isn't down. So that's a very bullish sign. However, it did have its nice pullback. For those of us in the room that got into this, it went up to around 6%. Didn't come up to that $28 area, which is very close to it. You just have to let it breathe. You just have to let it work, okay? To micromanage the trade, you could move your stops up in the money if you're worried about losing money on that one. But it's a good trade, right? We got in at the right time, and it's moving up towards that $28 area. You need to have patience with it, right? Right now, it's sitting at $27.85. So it's very close to that 28. If it does break that, then we're seeing 29 on there, right? Just be a little bit patient. These are things that will take a little bit of a time. Any thoughts on PLTR? I talked about PLTR. What do you think about RMO? We'll talk about RMO as well. Those of you guys on TikTok, go ahead and go to the YouTube channel so you guys can see the charts that I'm showing you guys here. RMO, guys, so huge volume the other day. We're talking about 205 million volume traded, more than any other day on the chart here. It's very visible with this big green candle here. It's pretty unreal, right? So we had 205 million. That means if there was a lot of bag holders here, if we sat here and maybe added up all the volume on this chart, guys, 200 million volume could very easily have taken out a good chunk of these bag holders, right? But you got to understand most of that was buying pressure as well, right? So what can happen here? If it can really stay above that $10 area or that $9 area, we need to get above the 200-day moving average. If you guys chase this on the long side, unfortunately, you're going to have to sit through some heavy downtime. But again, like I said, you don't want to chase anything that's had a solid move to the upside. And this has had that, right? We had a massive move from $8 all the way up to 13, and people were buying the stock up here. You're just repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You're buying the top, holding it, expecting it to gap up in the morning so you make some money. It doesn't do that, and then you end up saying, okay, well, now I'm red, I'm going to hold it, and holding it is just going to make you suffer longer and longer and longer. The plan you had failed, and you got to exit the trade if that was the plan, all right? So RMO, again, needs some time, needs to hold above that $9.59 area in order for it to do anything. But at the moment, I don't see a certain pattern in RMO. Do you think PLTR is in a descending wedge? I don't really necessarily see a descending wedge on PLTR, but let's take a look. PLTR descending wedge. I mean, if you start it here and you kind of follow these points, yeah, it could be doing a descending wedge here. But again, I like descending wedges to be more sharp. This is kind of like sideways, but it is doing it, right? So if it pops out, you can kind of take the trade there. Let's see here. Roblox. RBLX. So fairly new IPO, obviously hasn't found its direction yet. Still very choppy, guys. If you're invested in this, you're either in it for the long term because you believe in the company, you understand what's happening with the financials and whatnot. Other than that, you can see we're stuck, right? We're stuck in this range here. If it could get back above that $73 area, we could see a run towards 77. But right now it's stuck between 72 and 65. It's just stuck in this range, all right? Yeah, you could trade this range every time it comes down to the 65. You could trade along towards the 72. People make a living trading sideways channels, right? Jumaya for swing trade. Jumaya, just like, any other, not any other tech, most tech names, struggling around that 20-day moving average, right? For a swing trade on the long side, we need to get back above that 20-day moving average, right? you can see clearly we've rejected that 20-day moving average. We need to get above the 20-day moving average. And because we've had a free fall down here, if we can get above that 20-day moving average or above that 40-50 area, we could see a nice pull up towards that 47. That's the only time you could consider a swing trade on this, if and when we break above the 40-50 area. I think someone asked me about waste management, and I believe the ticker is W. I know it's not. WM? Yeah, WM. Strong. As of recent, it's had a nice move. And let's look at the yearly or the max weekly time frame. So here we go, guys. This is the weekly time frame here. We have this prior high, 125, broke above that prior high, right? Super extended on the weekly chart, but it's being strong. If you're in it, you gotta take some profits up here. But I do expect this thing to kind of pull back into the old support, into the 20-day moving average before making a next leg higher. Waste management looks good so far. Fubo Long is just, it's crazy, man. This thing is not looking good, not looking pretty at all. If it loses this 2050 area, it's gonna be in a hell of a lot of trouble coming down to that 15 bucks. This is a struggling chart. The issue with this is that I actually know a few people. I've recently found out that they've been pumping this like crazy all the way back to this day here. They were pumping this thing. So it's just tough right now because now it's getting some negative news. It really needs to stay above that 2050 area. All right, the 200 moving average is just been put in here. It needs to get above. It needs to stay above that and reclaim that 200 moving average. Right now, it's struggling. Selling pressure is still there. If it loses 250, it's really gonna fall hard here, guys. FRX. Any thoughts on YVR? XL. All right, we'll talk about XL as well. Those of you guys on TikTok, again, make sure you tune into the YouTube, is where I'm going through these charts that you guys can actually take a look at as well with me. FRX, not seeing much here, man. It's tough. This chart is very, very weirdly traded. I don't know who they're merging with. I'm not really sure what this is about. But again, needs to hold above the 970 area. If it doesn't, it can roll over. For any sort of a trade on this, we need to get back above the 20-day moving average and above this pivot high of around 1068, and then you can see it kind of move towards that 1111. For as long, if you're asking about long term, I don't know. I don't really know what that's about. TGI looking for current swing on Discord. TGI is fine. Again, needs patience. A lot of these names need patience because that's just the way the market is working right now. We enter the trade and they need to kind of, it's holding the 20-day moving average so far. It's a slower name. A lot of these names that are moving because of the sector rotation, they're slow names. So we're dealing with banks, etc. Reopening stocks. They're bigger market cap stocks, so they move a lot slower. David, NEO and CCIV, please. I'm long on both, down big on both. I decided to hold for 1 year and not worry about current downtrend. Awesome. So if you've decided to hold for a year, you really gotta stick to that plan. Don't look at the market every day. Just understand what you own and understand that you are an investor and not a trader. Those of you guys that are investing long term are micromanaging your positions too much. You're looking at it every single day, and that's not the way you invest long term. You put the money in it, you say you got yourself a great deal, you put it to the side, you forget about it. You come back in a year or two and you look at it. You adjust your positions on that time frame. But to look at it daily is going to eat you away and it's going to hurt your mental capital. All right. So NEO, again, long term, it is a good plan. If it pulls down to the 34 area, I will be adding more. And hopefully it stays above that 200-day moving average. CCIV, this one's a little iffy. As long as you believe in what the company does long term, financials are good, you believe in the company, it has support at $20 area. If you're invested long term, you could look to possibly add to these areas, but $20 area is going to be a vital area for CCIV. Okay, if it loses the 20, we could really easily see a move down towards the $15 area, which at that point I think it will get massive amount of buyers. SOS. SOS. Guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you smash the like button. SOS, clear pump job yesterday by Reddit. Needed to break that 640 area. Didn't do so. So stuck in a chop. Not much in it. I'm not a fan of the stock, but a lot of people are bullish on it due to the mining capacity that they have. Somebody asked about XL, so let's talk about XL here. XL fleet, struggling, man. It had a big volume day yesterday, and look where it ended up. It got stuffed. The reason for that is the major supports are all gone. Everybody is under the water in the stock now. Whoever chased the stock, and I know a ton of people who are in the stock up here in the 20s area. Okay, now the last line of defense on the stock was what? That $10 area. This is the IP. This is the acquisition price, the $10, right? We lost that, and that's right here. Look at it. This is the $10 area, the 970, whatever the case may be, right? We bounced off of it, we broke it, and as soon as we came back up, dump. Look at the volume it had yesterday, 101 million, and it closed red. It's tough. This stock has now become bag holder central, and I wouldn't be surprised if this just continues to grind lower and lower and lower before it finds a short covering bounce. OCGN. OCGN, again, another bag holder chart. Every time it pops, it gets sold off into. Don't see anything in it in the short term. Again, I'm not a big fan of these type of stocks. If you want to trade it on the long side, it really needs to clear above that 830 area to see it move back towards that $10. Needs to stay above the both moving averages, which is struggling to do so. I use your pre-market scanner on TOS. Can you create a YouTube video or TikTok video for finding stocks that pop intraday? Yes, I have an exact video for that. That's in the works. It just takes some time to make these videos, but I do have an intraday scanner for you guys here. All right, let's see. What time is it? All right, so it's 9 o'clock, guys. I'll go over VIAC, and that's the last one. I appreciate you guys for tuning in here. Every Thursday, we will be live on YouTube, so you guys can tune in here. But VIAC, again, same. These charts that produce bag holders becomes very hard to trade because every pop becomes a sell-off, right? Where would I be interested in trading this thing? If we can get above 48.25, I wouldn't mind trying it for a move towards maybe that, I don't know, 52, 55 area. But again, it's very hard because every pop will get sold into due to these massive amount of buyers all the way up here towards that 100. People bought it at 100 thinking it's going to keep going higher. And then it just dumped, and it dumped hard, right? So let's take a look at what happened here. We went from 48 to 100 in about 50 days. Okay, we went from 100 to $40 in 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5 days. So what took 50 days to move took 3 days to crash. Okay, so this is what I mean. No matter what you're trading, you always have to have a stop loss, because if it decides to pull on you, you got to exit at minimum losses. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Again, every Thursday we will be live. And if you haven't done so already, join the Discord. Love you guys so much. And I will catch you guys next week. Have a wonderful day, guys.